Hi friends, it's Carol from Crinkled Path Journals, and I'm here with a gratitude journaling episode, and I hope you'll join me. I'm off work this week to take care of my granddaughter for my daughter because she has to go in and do reporting for her students for the first quarter, and she's currently on parental leave. Monday morning, our son-in-law brought our granddaughter out to our house, and then the rest of the week I will be watching her at their house. My husband and I were home and up early waiting for her arrival, and we just had a lovely morning with her, and it just brought lots of gratitude to my heart. And so I thought I would share a little bit about our morning and make a page. So I hope you'll stick around and watch. Our granddaughter is 6 months old as of today, and she had come to visit, as I was saying, and we had fed her breakfast, and then she was a little bit cranky. And the thing that helps her fall asleep, always cheers her up if she's not in a good mood or is feeling cranky and tired, is going outside. And she loves to be outside. She would be outside all day long if we let her. She would sleep out there. She would be most content being outside. So I took her and I put her in the stroller and I took her for a walk around our property and down our long driveway. And she just calmed down, settled in, and it was just a beautiful little trot around our little tiny 2-acre farm. As I was walking, I was pointing out things to her, whether she truly understands at 6 months, of course, probably not, but I think that she's going to learn the more we continue to do this. I thought I'd pick a page and talk through some of the things that I shared with her on our morning walk. So let's see where we have a blank. Maybe this one. I like the brown because we're just getting, oh, this brown too. I don't know, but the lace. We're just getting the very first tree changing color, and a lot of our property is golden brown because that's what happens here in the summer as things don't stay green. I'm using some elements from a Simple Stories kit called Homegrown. I believe the kits are called Simple Pages, and they're to make 12 by 12 scrapbook pages, but I am not scrapbooking in 12 by 12 albums anymore at this point, and so I'm just going to use them in my gratitude journaling. I always like to find a way to add an element to get a pocket on, because then if I want to write more, I have a place to tuck it. So I'm going to go ahead and put this as a pocket first. My art glitter glue is not cooperating, so Fabri-Tac it is. Just going to go around the 3 sides to make my pocket. So here's some of the elements I'd like to put on the page. It rained a lot on Sunday, so our little morning walk was greeted by a fresh, rain-washed world. The trees were dripping, but the sun was out, and the cement was wet down our driveway. The air was crisp. It's been getting cold here in the mornings, even though it still gets quite warm in the afternoons. Let's see, maybe I want to tuck this behind here before I glue it down. Of course, the baby was snug and cozy in her stroller. She was still in her jammies, and she had a blanket. She loves a bumpy stroller ride, which those are the only kinds you get around here because the ground isn't even. We have a gravel driveway and then the asphalt driveway out to the street, and she just loves it. Let's see, I might want to tuck this behind too. I'm kind of doing this backwards. And maybe I'll make it so this tucks in there and not glued down. Of course, we had to go pause at the fence and say hi to the neighbor pony. And he was nodding his head at us and very curious about the stroller, as was one of our hens and our young rooster. They approached very cautiously, looking at the stroller, wondering if it was something that was going to frighten them. And so the baby was completely fascinated because they took the time to very gingerly walk slowly towards us and look at us with one eye the way chickens do and survey the scene. And then they finally got brave enough to pass us, and she just was delighted that they came so close. She's really taken notice of her own dogs and our goats and our livestock guardian dog in the last week or two. And she just giggles when her dogs are approaching her, and it's so cute. As we walk down the driveway, we have grapevines along the driveway, and the vines are all withering and the grapes are smelling very pungent right now, the ones that weren't picked and were allowed to just over ripen on the vine. And the birds were calling back and forth to each other, and it was just such a pleasant, quiet, no wind morning. And I just was talking to her and saying, do you feel how cool the air is? And do you smell the grapes? And do you hear the birds? And telling her, that's Sunny the pony. He lives next door. And that's our silly Roo. Do you see our silly black and white rooster? And she just squeals with delight and is so content to be outside and moving. And then as we took our time around the property and then started back towards the house, as we were coming up the driveway, my husband was standing on the edge of the porch drinking a cup of coffee, and I knew that he just had ordered a new bag of pumpkin spice coffee from one of our favorite coffee roasting companies called Thousand Hills Coffee. They have the best pumpkin spice roasted beans, and then later in November they'll have holiday spice beans, and I love both of them so much. And I knew that as I was walking up the driveway, he'd have a cup of coffee for me when I got back, and just to see him looking down the driveway at us and admiring the baby and I walking up and just smiling at us, and he's just been enjoying being a papa so much. I just was overwhelmed with gratitude. Last week had its tough moments. The thing about happiness is that it's not dependent on our circumstances. It is about appreciating and being grateful for what we do have, even when there's tragedy, even when the news is horrific, even when there's sickness or loss. There's still things around us, the simplest of things, to be grateful for, and that's what creates happiness. And I just really wanted to come and journal about those very simple moments, an animal, a smell, a sound, and be grateful for those things, and just remind myself to continue to do that on a daily basis. This envelope was gifted to me by Carrie the Paper Monkey in a recent Happy Mail, and she embossed it, and it has some fall leaves on it, and I love the beautiful gold color. And she had included a note in it, but then I got this card from Sarah from New England Junk Journals when we did our recent swap, and she had tucked a note in it and not written on the card. And they just so happened to fit, and these beautiful yellow sunflowers or black-eyed Susans just match so well. And we're in that transition here between late summer and early fall. And so I thought I would tuck this card in the envelope. I would write some of my journaling in there, and then I will tuck that in the pocket and just leave a little bit hanging out so I know it's there. And then I just want to list a few things maybe on this little white card that looks kind of like a coaster. And then I'll tuck that back in there. So thank you so much for those of you who came along with me today. If you're new here, thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope you'll come back and check out some of the memory keeping that I do, or I love doing other gratitude journaling, swaps and thrift hauls, friendship Fridays, and I love joining other collabs. And I've got a couple different things on back burners. I've been working on a custom journal to hold some old letters, and I've been working on a domestic arts binder journal. Actually, two of them the same, pretty much the same. But I appreciate you, and I hope you'll find a reason to come back. And to those of you who return time and time again, who support my channel, subscribe, like the videos, leave comments. They're always my favorite, and I love hearing about you and knowing more about you through your comments. I am grateful for all of you too. I hope you can find some simple things today to think about, to be grateful for, and that it brings you some happiness and joy. Take care, and I will talk to you in the next video.